hitting the IG. So closer to me?
I go.
Closer to the fan.
No, I went.
Go fart in your corner. Go fart in your corner.
No, because that way it would stay closer to us. This is the furthest distance from you and me.
I'm right there.
It's
fart in your corner.
Here from there is the
fart
same.
In your corner.
It's the same distance.
It's also closer to the fan. Fart in your corner.
No, I went behind the fan, like here, because I was gonna fart in front of the fan, and I was like, that would be terrible. I don't know if I regret or I'm happy that recording is literally already started. I almost went in the closet and closed the door. I was going to just like close. This is like, you'd be like, what are you doing? Be like, don't worry about me.
Don't worry about me.
I'm taking one for the team. I'll be back. Love it. Anyways, welcome to Glad You Game Pod. Here we go. We're back in it. If you've already been online, you've heard some initial convo. Flatulence, if you may. Well, you probably didn't hear that because it wasn't that loud. But it was an argument of flatch, if you will. And yes, correct, everybody in the chat. Thank you. We are Visor Gang, baby. It's filling up. Hashtag Visor Gang. Love it. Love to see it. Like it. Love it. One more of it. Well, let's go in the Glad You Game Band. I said I'd start with that. I can't believe I'm not. But I got it in, baby. So we actually got quite a bit this week. Like, surprisingly, like, didn't expect a ton of news to come, like, in the middle of July. It's not like...
But it came in hot and heavy.
Yeah. Specifically off of the whole Switch thing. Like, let's just get right in that. I don't know how else to say this. Valve made the Switch Pro. They did what Nintendo should have done. Let's just start right with that. So you don't know what I'm talking about is Valve. Like there was rumors Valve was going to do a handheld system, something like that for a while.
Yeah.
But there was nothing official. So not only did they officially announce it, a day later they had reservations open to reserve all of them.
Okay.
Kick it off. So it's like that's like the closest you can do to a shadow drop of a console. Like. Yeah. And by the way, pre-order tomorrow. It's like pretty fucking good.
I also want that to just be the standard now.
Well, it should be. I mean, do you remember Series X and PS5? They're like, well, here they are. When can we pre-order them? Well, we're not even telling you the date they're coming out yet. Like, it was like, what the fuck? But yeah, so Steam Deck is the name of it. So obviously Valve owns Steam. There we go. Sage is getting the coffee. It's Sage in the coffee. So it's the Valve Steam Deck. So it has the full Steam integration into it. It's got an AMD Zen 2 CPU, 448 G flops. Everybody's talking about flops for. I'm actually going to not mention that because like people just like to mention that. And it means like fucking nothing in the term of everything. It's just like a marketing term. But anyways, they have a Zen 2. The important thing is this. It's a Zen 2 CPU and an 8 RNA2 CU for their GPU. The only reason why that matters is...
Thank God you didn't talk about the flops because the rest of that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Well, the important part about that is it's RDNA2 architecture, which is the next-gen architecture, meaning it can use newer technology that they've been kind of saying that the PS5 has a similar architecture type. It's not
It will have the same hard drive as the PS5.
Not hard drive. This is GPU. this is GPU stuff. So
solid state hard drive. It can play Ratchet and Clank.
No, but hold on. So basically it has the next gen architecture is the point. So the same architecture in the series like S and X, and similar architecture to the PS5 because they didn't want to use the RDNA2 exactly. Our design, like aka official design from AMD and PS5, they developed their own that they say is similar, which means they can't leverage certain things in that, like VRR, variable rate refresh, things like that to help it make your frames per second look a little better and things like that. They have different ways of doing that in the PS5, but it's very similar. It includes with the ray tracing stuff, but they are able to leverage some of these capabilities in that GPU. The whole point of it is that's kind of like the next gen architecture design you want in your new kind of console.
Yeah.
So Switch is still using something from that's very old. Like we said, they didn't really update any of that. None of that changed. It was just the screen pretty much. This is using basically a next gen. This would kind of go more like the Xbox Series S.
Okay.
It's kind of like equivalent to the Series S is still a little more powerful.
What does it mean?
But this would be the closest. This would be literally if Nintendo decided to make the handheld in this generation.
Yeah.
This is the one they would have made. That's like, oh, it's in the same architecture design of it, not necessarily performance-wise, but it's close.
All right.
And
so the three things I want to know are A, price point.
Yep.
B,
I'll get in there. I've only got CPU and GPU.
B, output, like resolution and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And three,
that's going to be the different part. Yeah.
can you dock it?
Yeah. So I'm getting all of that. I was getting the CPU and GPU out of the way because the people who actually know about that stuff, that's like the thing they like hash on all the time. So it's like, let's get that. The RAM, it has 16 gigs of RAM, LP DDR5, which is not bad actually. Storage is where it gets interesting. So there's 3 storage options, right? All of them except micro SD cards as well, but there's 3 internal storage options too.
Okay.
Again, exactly what we said the Switch should have done. There's 64 gigs, 256, 512. Now, there is slight differences in those. The 64 is using Emacs storage. The 256 and 512 are using NVMe storage, which is significantly faster storage for the SSDs. And they say the 512 is faster than the 256, but all they list is NVMe storage. So the only thing that can mean is that it has like a higher hash rate or something.
Okay.
But they haven't released exactly what that is, but Steam just says faster. Basically, it's like fast, faster, fastest is how they list all of them. But they're both NVMe, so it's going to be pretty
Goldilocks marketing.
right. Their NVMe like base is incredibly fast, so to be honest, you don't really need the 512. You're buying that more for you want that space. Now, all except, like I said, micro SD cards, which you said last time, you can get like a 256 gig card for like $40 or something like that. Like they're not expensive, but the speed, the I/O speed of that card is not going to be equivalent to what these SSDs are. That's
So
like,
what are the SSD speeds? Because I know like the cards
they haven't
are up
released
to like
that.
150 megabytes a second, I believe.
yeah. So I mean, these would be significantly faster than that. We're talking we're talking gigs. I don't know the
Okay.
like like PS5 is what 5.5 gigs per second, up to 9 when it's like raw. This I would bet this is like probably 2.5, something like that. So
Okay.
significantly fast. I don't know exactly. I don't like they didn't release that. That's what I'm saying when they're saying faster and fastest, and they're both NVMe storage. I didn't release like the actual like gigs per second, but the price difference of these. So this obvious the price difference the only difference is the hard drive space, and that's what makes the price difference. So, and one last thing, the display is 7 inches. So the new Switch is also 7 inches. It's an LCD screen, so it's not OLED or even LED. It's LCD.
Interesting.
Because my guess is they're trying to save money there by packaging a lot of good hardware in.
Yeah.
It's 1280 by 800, 1610 resolution at 60 hertz. So take that with you what you will. Basically, it's going to be
1280 by what?
1280 by 800.
Yeah.
So not quite 1080p. It's kind of like right under there, and it's 60 hertz. So like it's pretty good.
Basically like
It's pretty much like the Switch.
it's like DVD quality.
Right. That's 480p. This is like it's like native. It's a little bit better than 720p, but it's not as good as 1080p natively. Now,
Still
this
technically
is also
HD, but
right, and this is
barely.
also like. But on that small of a screen, you're not really going to notice the difference. It's when you get to a larger screen, which is the interesting part. So there's trackpads. They say there's 55% better latency compared to the Steam controller, which is a controller they built. The analog sticks they promise won't drift. Blah blah blah. All that shit's kind of the same. There's the buttons. The rest of the layout is pretty much the same. We hit the main parts. 7-inch screen, 1280 by 800, 1610 of resolution, 60 hertz, 16 gigs of RAM. 8 RDNA 2 CUs, AMD Zen 2 processor. Now, storage 64 gigs, 256 gigs, 512 gigs. NVMe for the latter two, and then all expandable micro SD. Now, there is a dock, and the dock is the interesting part. So it has the display port, which I don't know why they mentioned this because it doesn't make a lot of sense for what they have. They're like, it uses USB-C DisplayPort, 1.4 alt mode support, up to 8K at 60 hertz or 4K at 120 hertz. That is describing not the system,
just
what the cable can support, which is like, I get that, but also like that's kind of misleading because some people might read that and be like 8K at 60. It's like, nope, that's never going to happen out of this thing. But the cable could do that, but that's like saying this Cat 7 cable can do 10 gigs a second. It's like, do you have 10 gigs a second internet? No. Then it's not going to give you 10 gigs a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I get why they show it. So anyways, there is a dock, and the dock
I think people probably have like a stigma toward USB that they still are just like, oh, like, so it's like my phone speed connection. And
yeah, I guess that could be it too. So that's a good point. So the dock on this article didn't have it. So the dock they do have a dock, which I'll get into next. It is sold separately, so it doesn't come with this.
That's fine.
So you do have to buy it. The dock adds. Hold on, let me see if it adds. That's DisplayPort, processor. The dock, PCE Gen 3 times 4. That's not even about the dock. That's about the fucking thing. Okay, official dock. Here we go.
There we go.
My main thing was, does this juice it up a little bit? It does not.
Has to.
It doesn't mention that it does. There is no.
It has to.
There is no. It's just so separately. It also says specifications subject to change on the dock. So
okay. All
maybe.
Right. Well, no,
we'll
but that's something. I
Yeah,
mean, that's basically just letting us know whether or not it's 1080, 4K, and what the frame rate's going to be. Those are the specifications that are subject to change.
Right. Well, it can't be 1080 4K, but it could be. You mean like 1080 60?
1080, 4K.
Okay, I was gonna be like, 60. Those are both resolutions. But so it just still says the HDMI 2.0, DisplayPort 1.4, Ethernet, USB-A, and USB-C powered pass-through. So nothing about additional. Additional power. Oh, and the operating system is SteamOS 3.0, which is Arc-based. No one gives a shit what that means. Besides like me. Or if you're actually listening, some of you actually do, because we do have indie devs on this. So you got that answer. And the general people are like, please move on from this. All right. So
I am the general people.
Now,
what
the price difference of these is the bottom price, 64 gig. So again, this is not NVMe, so this is going to be slower storage. It doesn't mean it's slow. It's still eMMC, which is PCI Express Gen 2. It's still pretty fucking fast. I would say if you're going to get one of these, you want to at least get the 256 model, just because I think that is a difference you will notice. And this can play all the current AAA games in 1080p pretty much, or close to it. And it's not like where the graphics are that much downgraded. It can handle a lot of that shit like the Switch can't, which is interesting. So the Steam Deck starts at $399 for 64, $529 for 256, or $649 for 512. Now, what does that mean? Well, PS5 digital is $400, Xbox Series X is $400, PS5 physical, Xbox Series X is $500. So basically, the 64 gig you can get for the same amount you would get a PS5 or a PS5 digital or an Xbox Series S for. Or the 256, you're paying $30 more than a Series X or a PS5 physical.
Yeah.
And then the 512, you're paying $150 more than either of those. Now, that's obviously a larger thing. So the one benefit you're getting is, which you mention a lot, it's SteamOS. So you get the entire Steam catalog.
Which is significant.
Right. You're getting that PC catalog that, like, why Xbox went to the ecosystem thing is so they can get the PC people get the Xbox games, but it's like you also kind of get the PC games and it's all kind of the same.
Yeah.
In their library. So this kind of gives you for Steam. So in that respect, it's great. This is what the Nintendo should have done, because then it's like, let's compare the price point here. Considering the Switch OLED is $350.
Yeah.
The low version of this is $400. So it's $50 more, 64 gigs internal, which you can still expand, which is better than I think the Switch OLED did add 64 gigs of RAM. I think it was one of the things we mentioned. But this has more RAM, better hardware, and can support higher visuals. Now, you can't get the Nintendo games, obviously, But my point is they could have done this with their same system and used the dock. So it's like, I don't know. So basically they did, if you wanted a next gen handheld, it's the Steam Deck. Now it's not going to be
I will say,
literally a walking PS5 or a Series X is also something to be clear.
What is the controller situation?
So it's like, I mean, it's literally like the Switch, but
they detach.
Well, actually, it's more like the PS Vita, where they're not detached, and it's like this would literally be more of an successor to the PS Vita, I guess you could say. But it's basically like a smartphone phone with built-in controls next to it. Yeah. But they do not detach. No, but they do have.
So if you want extra controllers,
you can buy.
How much do those cost? And
they don't have a list of those. They do have the Steam controller support.
Yeah.
With Bluetooth 5.0, but it doesn't have. I haven't seen like sales for that.
Yeah. And then like for developers, if you are making a game that like is supposed to work on
and has
mouse and keyboard and stuff obviously. Like that, then how do these translate to this system?
I mean, it's the same way you translate. I mean, all of those you have. Steam has full support for like controllers.
Yeah.
So it'd be the same thing.
But does that mean each game does?
Most games do. Yeah, they all tether too. Cause it's not like something they do separately generally.
Okay.
It's on now. It might just be like it kind of really sucks with the controller comparatively to the mouse and keyboard. But it's like you can play. Basically, it's like hotkeying controllers to keyboard keys.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And it'll do that generically. Now, again, you can choose to take advantage of things or not. It's like when third-party developers, for example, are making stuff for PS5.
Yeah.
But they're just using the PS5 controller as a controller, not like the haptic and adaptive feedback or things.
Like what was that?
Like, you're not really using the controller for what it is, but I guess it's.
What was that heist game?
Payday?
Yeah, I think so.
Payday 2 is awesome.
The one where you have to plan the whole thing and it's like very blocky looking.
Oh no. The one where it's you plan it and then you like get in the car and you run and you're racing.
Yeah.
The one oh fuck. Man, I was playing that a lot too.
What's also that like graphics called? Like it's
Vulpix or whatever.
Yeah. The Pokemon Vulpix.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Voxel. And it's Voxel, and then the game is. I mean, I could just look on my computer, but I will not. I'm just gonna look at Voxel
heist
game.
No, but like that's
Voxel
the kind
heist game. Let's see if it comes a teardown. Yep,
teardown. All right, that's the kind of thing I'm like interested. Like, how would that work in something like that? Because I feel like a lot of it lends to it. But if you're talking
hard,
but if you're talking about like 20 different keys and 14 buttons, like how does that translate type thing?
Yeah, I would assume they kind of just generically tether stuff, so it's like the basic interactions there, but you might be missing some stuff.
Okay. Can't honk the horn.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, also because it is considered because the architecture is a PC architecture with the Zen 2 and the RDNA. When it docks, you can literally use it as just a normal PC. Like
that's pretty cool.
Use your deck as a PC because it is one of their things. You can also install and use PC software, just like Microsoft. You can like use normal PC software on it, like it's a portal. Browse the web, watch streaming videos, do your normal productivity stuff, install other game stores, whatever. So they even mentioned you can install other game stores on it, which is also like kind of cool. So I mean, it's also really interesting. They have it works with all your accessories, and they have a thing of the old arcade rolling ball with like the 6 buttons that you use on the arcade box.
Yeah.
And there's like plug this in with a USB-C port or a Bluetooth.
That's fun.
Because like they make new of those accessories. So it's like, and that kind of goes with your whole point of like the hotkeying. I think it's just going to get generically done. It's like, is that mouse keyboard? But it does fully support mouse keyboard too. So
that's cool.
If you want to do that, it's like
that's interesting too though. Like, are you going to see like arcades with the basis of the system where like
they're just, hey, we just got like 17 Steam Decks and just jump into it?
Yeah.
I mean, they could. I mean, that's you could. This is what I'm saying. They clearly, it's like they saw PS Vita from like the 2013.
Yeah.
And they saw Switch not filling this market, like being like, hey, I want to be competitive with these real games, which we love the Switch, and Nintendo is fine. The games it does aren't graphical powerhouses. They don't need all this shit.
Yeah.
So they're trying to keep it down. But the problem is with the OLED, they didn't need that either. And they could have made it into something that's like, we'll suit the more elite community, or like the more like gamer, like I guess veteran gamer or intense gamer community that's like, I want more power in this system for not only Nintendo games but also whatever. And we didn't fulfill that need. The weird part about it was, and half of me thinks Valve was just like, wait till Nintendo does this OLED thing, which was last week.
A week later.
And then they were like, oh, well, it was like Tuesday. So like they announced like Thursday, and they're like, oh, Switch OLED. And Valve's like, we got them. Tell them we have an announcement on Tuesday. And then we're doing reservations on Thursday. And it's like exactly what they did. And it's like half of me has to think they're marketing. I was like, oh, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
They're like, we weren't sure they were going to do the Switch Pro, but now we're 100% sure we're ready to dunk on them.
Joe, what happened to your pants there?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, Nintendo just released the Switch Pro.
Big pile of shit. Is that what you're saying?
All right, so we do have a lot to talk about today.
But
what are your final thoughts?
I just think I think fulfills a need for, we don't have a PS Vita this generation, and I think it's this generation's PS Vita. It's what Nintendo could have filled the void. They decided that's not really part of their repertoire, and Xbox clearly didn't either. The interesting part is, I think the most interesting is that it's the Zen 2 and the RDNA 2 performance and built-in GPU and CPU is crazy. You have your next-gen build game that runs the latest AAA games and very efficient power envelope. That's now I'm just reading from their last sentence. But to kind of wrap that all up, it's a PC. So that's also, you can take that into account, like when you're thinking, well, it's $500, but like, yeah, but like you want your gaming PC and your console. It's like, if you're okay with this resolution and support, it's like, I mean, it's not terrible price, and it's a great. I would probably take this on an airplane before a Switch now at this point, because I can play games like outside of the Nintendo ones. I can play like, oh, I want to play Call of Duty, or I want to play, whatever or any Steam. The crazy part is I can play my Steam games from this basically on a Switch, and that's what I think is the most interesting part. And that they support, download whatever the fuck you want on it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing, is like, it's not a locked OS. They're like, download. You have Word. Yeah. You need to do work. Download that. You want to download the Epic Game Store? Go for it. We don't fucking care.
It's also like going to be a great thing for developers to like sandbox and.
Yeah, it just opens a whole new world of what they can do. And now you'll see things like Steam Deck support. So now, just to kind of reiterate, we have Steam OS. Well, we have Steam, the library, the gaming library collective, right? We have the Steam Deck, and they were going to do the Steam console, and that failed, so that like never really got off the ground. Yep. But then we have their VR, which is also considered the best, or like it was the most innovative one with at least the hand grips, which we have not seen the new version of that, and we know one's going to come.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're getting really more into the hardware space and stuff, because Valve really hasn't done software other than Half-Life Alyx, and which they knocked out of the park, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's like, what's going on with them? So it's like, it's kind of like they're expanding, and they're huge now. So it's kind of like they're expanding in like so many directions. Like, well, we'll do the handheld market. It sounds like they're really 90s Sony. We want to do the handheld market, console market, and host a bunch of game storage, because that's what Sony did, and they dropped their handheld because it was PSP. Then I think there's 2 PSPs, right, and then 1 PS Vita.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, or it was like I think there was 2 PSPs and 1 PS Vita, because they did 3 handhelds is the whole point.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're like, hey, they dropped the ball on it. Let's take it. They don't seem interested in that anymore, which is like, fuck it. I think this is a great market. I think you're getting the Steam library, which is massive, which we talk about all the time. That's the benefit of having a PC, is the Steam library. It's really what it is. And now it's kind of like, well, let's open up the console. Half of me thinks, because they're so open to this OS, be like, download other fucking things. We don't care.
Yeah.
How about open Steam OS up to Sony and Xbox's console store?
Why not?
Because it's like they're both based in the same architecture. You could do this. So it's like, but then that kills some of their marketing points. But yeah, I think it's very interesting. And I think Valve made it in a very big way is like, we're now like in this space, because the VR equipment is great, but VR is still niche. It's like no one's like feeling hurt by that. Like, oh shit, we got pressure from Valve. This, I think, Nintendo was immediately like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because we own this market with the dock and this, and it's like, plug it in the dock. But they're also like, it's your PC too. Download whatever the fuck on it. You cannot do that on the Switch. So it's like they saw what Switch was lacking, and we're like, let's add on to it. And
it's a market that needs a little extra, like,
oomph,
a little more competition in this space. And yeah, like you were saying, like VR, a lot of it just comes down to like a graphics war to how much you can pump out to the headset, and then what your controller system is like.
Yeah.
And that's something that we're seeing a lot of different innovation in. But yeah.
I think that's a great point you made to iterate to our next topic there. Yes, I did pick that up. So I love this mainly because
why?
So many assholes. Ugh! Okay, so many assholes online are like Sony fanboys, Xbox fanboys. Sony boys are going to comment this. Xbox boys are going to comment this. Like asshole, whatever. So, and like we've said multiple times, Sony and Xbox or Microsoft do not give a fuck about each other. They're playing off of each other for marketing to get you to buy their stuff. But they win. They're winning. They're both winning, and they're fine.
Yeah.
But the interesting part is I saw this comment, and they both, and one of my rants a while ago was, all they do is congratulate each other now. There's no more console war between them. They're like, great, congrats Xbox on the Halo release, or like whatever. Congrats,
good
Sony
job,
on
guys.
Ghost of Tsushima's 1 year anniversary. Congrats, it was a great game. Congrats on the Bethesda acquisition. Like Sony congratulates Xbox like on Twitter and stuff. Like they'll do it to promote that like unity and shit. So this Phil Spencer, who's like runs Xbox now, says the one good thing. Let me see if I can get the exact quote. So Phil Spencer said, we're definitely thinking about different kinds of devices that can bring more games to more places. There's probably some work we'll do on the controller. I think Sony's done a nice job with their controller, and we kind of look at some of that and think there's things that we should go do. Talking about the DualSense controller, which we said is actually a next-gen controller, and the one thing Xbox has been lacking is the controller, because it's really the same one since like the 360. Like it's really color scheme has changed, maybe a little of the ergonomic format, but that's
they offered some like cool color. Yeah,
they offered the Elite one. Well, they have the cool color design, which is great, but that's no functional change.
Exactly,
and it's like getting skins in a game.
Yeah,
it is cool, but it doesn't anything functional. And they have the Elite controller, which is really just adding 1,000 fucking hotkeys to your controller, which is great. But it's not giving you the really like next gen experience with the adaptive, the haptic feedback, the gyroscope design, all that kind of shit. That kind of leverage what's the DualSense is and more. And so basically he acknowledged that Sony's like, we love what they did with that, and we're probably going to look at that too. So it's like, so a lot of people are talking about this, and it was just funny that I saw this comment, which was the most uninformed fucking comment, was just like, look at Xbox able to admit like Sony's doing something good and they'll learn from it and stuff like that. And it's like, too bad Sony fanboys can't do this, and like, too bad this.
Yeah.
And actually, I can't. My phone's right there. Wait, I did log into Twitter the last week on this.
No, it's one of those things that everyone goes back and forth about stuff forever, just chirping back and forth. But it's like, once you look at what these companies are doing, what the developers are doing, and what like their whole marketing team is doing, they're obviously aware. They know that these things are coming down the line. They might chirp back and forth, but yeah, they love just letting people rile each other up and having these like back and forth wars that people are just entrenched. Like, I can't imagine that 14-year-olds are arguing about this shit. It's the people that are like 25 plus.
I think 14-year-olds definitely argue about it.
They argue about it, but like not.
Because their mom's only buying them one. So
yeah,
they have to defend
like,
their mom's purchase is what it is. That's what it is.
But I think it's
this is
people in like our age group where it's just like, I've been playing like this system. I bought the last 3 of them.
Yeah, I don't give a
and like how like yeah.
Well, the thing is, I buy all of them, so that's why I'm like, I don't even understand. But I did want to read the exact thing because it got like 100 likes. So he's like, Phil is wise and humble, something Sony and its fanboys will never understand. And I was like, what the fuck? It's like the biggest dicks. Like, one, the irony, and this guy, all he does is retweet Xbox. the irony of his tweet being not humble is like proving against his point. So like it's Sony and its fanboys never. So I was like, Sony compliments Xbox all the time. Press conferences, new games, Game Pass, etc. The irony that your comment literally proves that Xbox fans don't understand being humble as well. LOL. Fans are biased, but Sony and Microsoft have no issues giving praise and taking constructive criticism. Yeah. And then so mine got a bunch of because everybody's like, and got 0. I weirdly thought I was like, great, I'm gonna get 1,000 comments. Not a single comment, just likes on it. I was like, great, because like fans are gonna be biased every time. So stop being like, oh, thank God, something Sony. Sony the company is not biased. Sony the company will take the constructive criticism, and they know from a marketing thing, they're not gonna whine like a little bitch. They're like, great job, thanks, Phil. Or like Xbox X, wow, that's a great price point, and then they're gonna do something because they have to do that because they can't be like dicks. Now I kind of wish they kind of were more like dicks, and Microsoft just take little jabs and be like so. Yeah. It would have been hilarious if Sony retweeted Phil.
Yeah,
and be
where's the Wendy's Twitter person?
Yeah, exactly. So then there was also a bunch of tweets that like Sony innovates and then Microsoft like improves.
Yeah,
because if you look at it, Microsoft never added a new feature. It was really Sony added one, and then Xbox took it and then like did some difference, like did some padding on it, so it's a little bit newer. And I was like, I guess, but I don't want to get into that whole thing. It's like,
I mean, go back to like the original controllers. Like, Sony was the first one to do like the dual trigger, and then Xbox just improved on that by like switching the D-pad and the stick around so that it was like a little more ergonomic. But they didn't like revolutionize it. They just move things around.
But anyway, so but it is good. It's what we've been saying the whole time. Xbox sounds like they're going to get a next-gen controller. It's not like it's going to pump out like tomorrow. They have to design it. Yeah. But maybe they have been working on it, and that's why you mentioned it.
Okay, so it's not. It's just announcing that there will be something there. They're not saying.
They has not said they have one. Okay. He said they basically he was just getting interviewed and just said, I like what Sony did with that. That's something we don't do, but it's something we need to look into. Like, do we need to add this? And it's like, I think what they're seeing is, which I've said 1,000 times, PS5 and Xbox Series X, no matter what you fucking believe, hardware-wise, are negligible. There are pros and cons to each, but they pretty much weigh each other out overall.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be like, you're not going to look at one or the other, and it's not black and white. This is outperforming that.
Yeah.
Now, Switch, obviously, like that's one that's like, it's black and white. They're going to destroy that. But the SSD, the hard drive, they balance each other out in the end. Yeah. That's why all these games pretty much look the same, and they both are all hitting 60 frames per second, and you'll get like one drop on PS5 or one drop on Series X.
Yeah.
And it's every game is pretty much the same.
That's why I love Switch so much, is that they like completely subvert it.
They just remove themselves out of the equation.
They don't remove themselves. They're just playing a different game the whole time.
Right.
They are thinking outside of the box the whole time, where it's like Xbox,
but they could be in the graphics box, which is bullshit.
They could, but Xbox, especially for controller wise, like Xbox and PlayStation are going head to head. Like, how can we add more buttons? How can we add more features? How can we do this? And
until the DualSense,
Nintendo's over there, and they're like, what if we broke our controller apart and then it was two controllers? Yeah. And it's like, that's such like a mind fuck. No, but like, it works so well. They were just high
watching Three Ninjas, and we're like, probably. Yo, you know what was good? And then they were like, oh, the latex scene. They're like, no, not that part, the nunchuck part. They're like, it's like, oh yeah. Like, which by the way, if you've watched that movie recently, like, it's like the violent Home Alone that like, or even Home Alone. Yeah. Those people would be dead in real life. Like they would have murdered those adults in real life. It's like, anyways.
I have watched it recently, and
it's incredibly violent. Yeah. Like, you're like, Jesus, those kids would be in prison right now.
Yeah, they're on like a battleship with like a whole like mercenary crew at the end, and they're just like, hiya, hiya. My favorite though is just going on a little tangent. Yeah. The like grandpa or whatever, and he's like, oh, we've got like in too far, like just let my grandchildren go, and the bad guy's just like, no.
Yeah. Love that. But no, so
we don't know anything about whether it's going to be haptic feedback or
no. He's basically acknowledged the haptic and adaptive feedback are things that lacks in the Xbox controller, and that they'll look into adding, which most likely they will. So maybe they've already started on it. This is kind of their hint that like, hey, we're working towards something.
Yeah.
But it's good for them to be able to acknowledge that. Which, by the way, I fully believe the DualSense exists because of Nintendo.
Yeah.
Because of what they did and certain ways they use the way you move controllers with the gyroscopes and the accelerometers and controllers, they're like, let's put that in. It was kind of in the PS4 controller, but they're like, let's put a little more. And I think that got Sony into thinking like, well, the Rumble Pack, which really came from the N64 controller, then they made the DualShock for Sony. I think a lot of that came from that. It's just that Sony acknowledged, well, Switch might have like removed themselves or they're playing a different game, but they're like, well, why don't we play both games? And they're like, get that controller shit in our controller and then still target the graphics and all that, which is that's what annoyed me because Switch could be playing the same game.
Yeah.
But Sony's the only one that's really playing both, and is how I've seen. But it sounds like Xbox is like, that actually is a legitimate addition to a next-gen system, and it makes it, which that's the one thing that we've always said. It's like hardware, the consoles are relatively the same. There's plus and minus in both, but when you play overall, it's going to balance out. The controller is the one thing that's like, it levels it up. And the exclusives also go fuck yourself. The number of exclusives on Sony was dominating Xbox, and now it's not, and now they're even. It's not dominating Sony. It is even, which is fine. And there's actually exclusives you can play on Sony today when you can't play one on Xbox, but let's move past that. But my point is, so that's all even now. The only difference is the controller. And it's like, it's that or what UI do you like better when playing? Those are two, and that's personal preference. The only thing that you could say is like factually like an elevated piece of hardware is the DualSense controller because the Xbox controller hasn't changed. But if they add that in the Xbox controller, then the entire thing is negligible. And it's like, yeah, which one do you like? That one? Fuck off, buy that one. Which one are your friends playing on? That one? Great, shut up and play it. I don't care. Like, I'll play both. You playing Halo Infinite is not affecting me playing Ratchet and Clank. Or me playing Bloodborne is not affecting you playing Psychonauts 2. Like, it doesn't fucking matter, which also is, I guess, on every console. But the point is, like, I like that. Now, I do want to break away because I don't want to forget. Live, just because I happen to go on Twitter and see this, Ubisoft is having a 10 a.m. conference tomorrow to potentially announce a new Splinter Cell game, which is what I've been begging for forever. And it's out. So they said, tune in at 11 a.m. It's PT, so it's 8 p.m. Fuck you guys. It's 11 a.m. PT or 8 p.m. CEST, which I don't think that's a thing. And that because it's a 4-hour difference from Pacific time, or 3-hour difference from Pacific time to EST. So I don't know.
Sounds like they got the shit all backwards.
Yeah. If they're releasing at 11 a.m. PT, that's 2 p.m.
I have a feeling
EST.
it's.
But they said a world
8 a.m.
It's yeah, but it wouldn't be 8 a.m. We're ahead of them. 8 a.m.
That's what I think they're flipped and.
Oh, you think it's 8 a.m. EST and 11 a.m. PT?
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe, but that seems like something really weird they would fuck up. Either way, tomorrow is what we know.
Tomorrow.
It says things are going to get wild, and out of nowhere, the worldwide reveal of a brand new game in the Tom Clancy universe. Now, does that mean it is a Splinter Cell? No, but it's this is similar to like the shit with Dead Space. We're like, we're hoping at the it's next week. It's this week.
We know they're doing something.
Yeah, this week is the potential. What is it? It's the 21st. It's 3 days. And 3 days is, right, it's the 18th, right? So 3 days. Yeah, so 3 days is the potential Dead Space 4 or Dead Space remake or whatever the fuck it's going to, potential Dead Space update. And tomorrow is the potential Splinter Cell update, which I didn't even know I've been begging for a new Splinter Cell because I love them. Need my Sam Fish.
What we're saying is tune in next week because
but now I'm like,
a lot to talk
but now I'm also like, it's going to hurt me.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to get hurt again. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
aren't we all?
Yeah. So that I had to mention that because that they just tweeted that out, and I'm like, well, I will say that because that is exciting. So that's tomorrow, and we'll give you the update next week on one, the actual time the thing did happen, and two, what the actual thing is. But I fucking hope it's Splinter Cell because getting some Sam Fisher in there would be fucking great. And it's been like a decade, I think, since the last one. I mean, it's been a long time, and they're just like Dead Space. Like we're ready for it. And I'd be fine with a full remake. Like, I'd be fine being like, yeah, we're just going to bring it back with a slight new... Kind of like how Tomb Raider was like, we're doing Tomb Raider, but we're starting at the beginning, like, when she became the Tomb Raider. And it's like, it'll be a new story and kind of a new way of doing it. But that's what we're going to do, which is what they did with the Tomb Raider games, which is great. It's what they're potentially going to do with Dead Space. We don't know that yet.
Yeah.
We will know the next episode, most likely. So, I'd be fine with that. It's like, yeah. We just want to be in that universe. Get me in the fucking universe again because it was awesome. Why did you stop? Like, So yeah, that's pretty exciting. So live update, and kind of go up to some exciting things that are potentially true or not true. Well, one is true. Netflix is going to offer video games. Period. So whenever it's like, oh, what is it? GameFly. GameFly's like tagline, I think, is like the Netflix for video games. Turns out Netflix is the Netflix for video games.
My big question is, does that count for streaming and digital? Or is it just like they're going to ship out video games? That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know if that means they're going to be physically shipping out, but they said they're making its first big move beyond TV shows and film, and is planning an expansion into video games, and hired former EA and Facebook exclusive executive to lead the effort. Now, right there, those are two companies that I would not be like, let's lead the gaming effort. EA, obviously, Madden, FIFA, all the sports games. You have Battlefield and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, but those aren't one. EA is not normally a company you associate with really good gaming news. It's what you associate with generally profitable gaming news. It's good for executives. It's good for business gaming. That's what Netflix is going to
Facebook
go for.
Is 0%, but it's like Oculus, I guess.
Exactly.
So Mike Verdu will join Netflix as vice president of game development, is the exact title, which does not sound like game shipment. Game development, reporting that their COO, company said on Wednesday, vice president in charge of working with developers to bring games and other content to Oculus virtual reality sets. So that was his previous title. So the idea is for the offer of video games on Netflix streaming platform within the next year. According to a person familiar with the situation, the game will appear alongside the current fare as a new programming genre, similar to what Netflix did with documentaries and stand-up specials.
I'm excited about is the fact that
doesn't plan to charge extra for the content.
If it's gonna be
interesting.
If it's gonna be in-house, the marrying of series and games could be fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, like here's Stranger Things 4 plus the Stranger Things game.
Yeah, and then you have all your contracts with your voice or your actors and stuff.
Right, it's
that
tethered
can hop
into
on
that.
as your voice actors. All your writers can be pulled into your video game development.
Mm-hmm.
Any storylines that get cut from series can be pushed to video games, where it's less effort to. I mean, you don't have to film them. You don't have to spend time on your cast and stuff. They can VO it, and just having all that IP in one place, that you get your 3D scans of all your actors that could just be put right in the game. You get all your stunt people that just back up all your cutscene type stuff. And I think it could be a really cool thing to bring a lot of that together. I mean, what was the zombie show?
I slept on AME or whatever.
Yeah,
not a Netflix zombie show. You're talking about Walking Dead.
Yeah, Walking Dead. There we go.
I was like, that's on Netflix.
No, that was the game and the show kind of played off of each other.
Oh yeah.
But they were never really 100% married. Yeah.
Right. You're talking about getting that actual marriage of the game and the show, where it's like you beat the game and then maybe you unlock a trailer for the upcoming season.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah, that would be pretty fucking dope.
Or holy shit,
but also game development takes a while too. So
it does.
You can't just
But I mean, if you're writing that shit ahead of time and you have stuff like that where they're
write them together to just make entertainment one ubiquitous thing. Yeah, I mean,
how fucking cool would it be that you go and play a level, then you have an episode that bisects that, and you have to unlock each episode through playing through a level. That would be the most dynamic fucking entertainment thing that you've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, no, yeah, you're right.
Fuck a cutscene, you get a whole episode.
Yeah, but then it's people who don't play games, they want to just watch the show.
Yeah, fuck them.
I feel that's the thing. I feel like we're moving into against the fuck 'em market, and this is we want to support them. It's skip game. I guess would be. Kind of it's kind of like the whole debate that's going on Twitter right now, and
I mean,
social
shit.
media.
Then you get
difficulty.
some that could break them into the whole streaming category, where you don't want to play the level. Fine, go watch this streamer do it, and then you get the next.
You could, I guess, yeah. I mean, that's
I'm saying it's a possibility. I'm saying that's where this stuff's exciting. If it's just like Netflix is also going to sell your latest fucking MLB game, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. No, I think
what gets me excited is the stuff that like you can really use your imagination. You can think outside the box. You have all this talent kind of.
Well, I think it might also be supporting existing games too.
It probably
like
will
kind of like Game Pass.
Yeah.
Like, but they're gonna be like, oh yeah, do you have a Netflix account? You don't need Game Pass. You just have Netflix. But the other thing is that kind of like what you're talking about.
You can hear it in the tone of my voice how excited I am about one thing compared to the other.
No, I got that. But what I'm saying is you're kind of like the common debate now on social media is with gaming. The hot thing is the game difficulty. Everybody's like, every game should be as easy so everybody can beat it. And people hate the hard difficulty settings now. And games that give you trophies for beating on hard, they're coming under a ton of fire because it's like, why do that? Just have you beat the game regardless of difficulty, so everybody's enjoying it.
Yeah,
I get
it's real like, participation trophy type bullshit.
That's what I'm saying. It's really like I don't fucking care really, but it is the participation trophy. That's like I just because you didn't win, but it's like but I did win the game. That's the thing. It's like you did get the end of the game, so you deserve the end of the game trophy. But some do give you that. They give you the standard one and it kind of gives you a challenge to like, oh, I want to try to do this.
I mean, I don't know how it is with the Xbox, but like you literally
they have achievements. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but in PlayStation you have like bronze, silver, and gold trophies, right?
Yes.
So there's your fucking trophy right there. Hey, I beat it on easy mode.
But they don't
like a bronze.
They want to get the same trophy. You complete it.
Yeah,
that's that's kind of my thing. I get why people get it, but like at the same point, it's like it's not just about difficulty. It's also about like challenging yourself. And just because you want to make it easier on yourself doesn't mean you should be fucking rewarded for that. Like you're getting rewarded. You still get the bronze trophy just because you want to be gold. Fuck off. Like I'm happy you can play the game, and the game should absolutely. Like, here's one thing I want to be clear. This is another thing people were talking about. The game should absolutely offer difficulty options for you to be able to beat the game.
Yeah.
Like an easy mode or a story mode that you can just play the game, beat it because you can't do it on hard, and you don't need to. Play it on easy mode. That way you still get to go through the whole game. You purchased it. You deserve to be able to beat it, and you can have it. Now, if you want to give yourself more of a challenge and you maybe already beat it once, so you have the story, but now you want to get more into the gameplay and challenge yourself, then that's why those other difficulties exist. And if someone only wants to do those other difficulties, like me, it is rare I play any game below hard because I want to challenge myself. I don't want to breeze. I want to, and anything a normal, I will knock through. And it's like hard, I almost knock through. It's like I generally have to play the hardest or second hardest difficulty of every game, like Doom Return, all of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, but that's me because I'm like obsessive about this and I've played a lot of games. Now you could play the easy one. That's also fine. But that's like me. I do think like if I'm doing this at a higher level, when I get to the end, it's kind of nice being like, you got to go like I challenge myself more.
Yeah.
And just because you don't want to, that's also fine. No one's saying you can't beat the game. Like that's what's getting mixed up in all this is like, why can't they finish it? You fucking can. Yeah. I just don't think that everybody should be treated the same because like, guess what? Some people are in the NFL and some people never make it.
Dude,
and guess why? Because some people are more talented. It's like, why can't that be and game is still letting you beat it. You're still playing the same game. Now, if they're like, you have to beat it on hard to get the DLC or something, it's like, well, fuck that. That's stupid.
Yeah.
And then the only other argument that stands tall is the game that doesn't have difficulty, which comes back to everybody's Bloodborne, Dark Souls, right?
Yeah.
But that is not really about difficulty. If you play that game, it's hard, but it's really about learning controls and strategy than it is just being hard for the sake of it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
But there is no difficulty settings in that game. So it's like everybody's treating the same. Now, you really want to beat the game? At the same point, it's also like, know what you're buying? Like, it's up to the developer to be like, hey, I made this. This is my artistic vision. Just because you wanted Iron Man to survive Endgame doesn't mean he did.
Yeah.
Like,
I play fucking B2
vision.
volleyball. Like, when we win, which I've done twice, I'm proud of myself, we get an email. Hey, congratulations, you won. Like, but I also know people that play in like fucking A leagues and like actually get trophies and travel and shit like that. That's just how that shit works. Where if you're
also playing
at a higher level, you
get
higher rewards. Yeah. That's fucking life. Like if you want to like argue for the trophy that you get like some little whatever, that's fine. But now you're going to sit here and argue for a better trophy because the trophy that you got isn't fucking back patty enough.
Right.
Fuck off. Like,
right. Well, that's what I'm saying. In college, you don't get the Super Bowl trophy. You don't get the Super Bowl trophy in high school.
Yeah, you don't get the Stanley Cup in middle school. That's just not the way it fucking works.
Yeah, so it's like, And like not everybody gets to play in that game because they're just not talented enough. And I get when you buy a game, you're like, yeah, but you're practicing. I bought this game. And it's like, yeah, then you can play it on normal. And guess what? You're playing the same game as me. I'm just choosing to play it harder, which at the end, you beat it, you got a trophy. Now, if you're saying you only get the trophy when it's hard, sure, make a bronze trophy. I'm fine with giving you one so you have some sense of accomplishment.
You should get an accolade.
Right, because you did finish it. You took the time, you spent the time, you deserve it.
Yeah.
But you don't deserve the same trophy as someone who did. Now, some games do have that. They're like, congrats. And that is why one annoying thing is actually not that they do that. It's that so many games don't do that when I play a game on hard, sometimes I'll play a game on hard because I'm like, I don't want to have to do this twice because I want both trophies because I am like that. So I'll play it on hard and beat it. And then I get you beat the game and I'm like, fuck that. I could have played this on normal and been done hours ago. And it's like, it's like almost I'm seeing the reverse of it where it's like, I want a better trophy. Fuck you. And it's like, that's kind of the other argument. So everybody's kind of putting this into like, it's this day and age. Gaming is for everybody. It's inclusive. It's inclusive. I'm not saying it's not inclusive. I'm not saying it's not for everybody. Gaming is for everybody. Gaming is inclusive. If you buy the game, you should absolutely enjoy yourself. Play it on whatever fucking difficulty you want and beat it. You just don't. This trophy at the end of the day should be better for those who played on a harder difficulty because they challenge themselves more. Now, you should still get an accolade for it. That also doesn't mean that, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, for example, the one thing I don't support is people berating people that are like, oh, I beat Ghost of Tsushima. You're like, great. It's like, well, I beat it on easy mode and I beat it on hard mode. And I'm like, all right, bro. Like, that's like the Jim Hardo. It's like, dude, look, it's like, okay, psycho. Or like, I'm going to lift this way. Yeah. Guess what? I don't care.
The people get thrown out of Planet Fitness for,
yeah. I don't care how much weight you're lifting, how hard you're beating the game. If you beat the game and enjoyed it, that's what I care about. You're having a great time gaming. Fuck yeah, enjoy it. I'm not going to be like, you're a pussy for beating it on easy. I don't care. Like, I beat it on hard because I like more of a challenge. And I think when I beat it that way and challenge myself more, I deserve a better accolade. But you also deserve an accolade, and which is separate from me, being fine with you beating the game. Like, I would never be like, oh, you only could beat it on easy. You suck. It's like, maybe you don't have enough time. Like, it takes more time. Maybe it's like too stressful. Maybe whatever it is, you're like, I just wanted to enjoy it. I don't want to get stressed out ever during a game. I use them just to relax. And it's like, hey, then play it on fucking easy. I don't care. That's fine. So that part of the argument, I do agree with. It's like, well, fuck you. Don't like insult or put people down because they don't play on that hard difficulty. That's like, dude, I play on the hard difficulty. I don't care if anybody else does. Be like that. It is inclusive. You can play. Everybody can play whatever difficulty you want. I don't fucking care. But if you do play on a harder difficulty, you deserve a little bit something better if you beat it because you put a little more stress on your body, a little more focus on yourself, and then it's like, when you want to be acknowledged, like to the level that you were playing at. That's all it is, and that's what I think everybody should. Everybody should be getting acknowledged, and I think your difficulty level should be part of that acknowledgement, but you also shouldn't berate people if they don't want to do that one. That's it. So that's a big thing that's going. That kind of made me think about what you're saying. Was like, well, fuck them. They can't play the episode or whatever. And it's like, well, that kind of goes into the difficulty thing of like, but it's also
they can play it in easy difficulty,
right? Exactly. So it's like, I just kind of want to say because I didn't really want to go into that, but I saw like it was been like 2 weeks now, and I'm like, are they gonna shut the fuck up? And everybody's like, I don't care. And also the people are like, a lot of people are just doing it because like games for everyone. I don't care at all. No trophies, and I'm like, fuck you. One of the reasons I fucking do not like Switch, I don't get trophies.
I know. We've had this conversation.
Yeah, and I'm not the only one who feels that way because it's like, when you do kind of want a little back pat. Like, good job, bud.
You beat the game. The game has a back pat built into it.
But no, it's nice that you get a little something, especially when you play like harder, because it does give you a reason to be like, I want that gold. Like, it gives you like kind of something to kind of fight for, and it's incredibly helpful when you want to like do everything in the game, and it's like, ooh, I got to get 15 Valkyries or whatever in God of War.
Would you care
to know to get all the Valkyries?
Would you care if the trophies weren't public?
Mine aren't public. I don't think. I don't know. I don't know. I need to know personally. It has nothing to do. I don't tell anybody. Like, I've never been like, oh, I platinumed this many games or anything like that.
That's all.
I like it. I like it for myself. I like it for myself. I'm not doing it to push on people. I don't care if they show anybody my trophies.
All right.
I like it for myself to be like, I know, and it's like I got something out of what I'm being there for, other than the game just ended.
But okay.
And it's like, that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants that, period. There's not a single human
finish the game. You know that you finished the game.
Yeah, but it's like you
having
get some,
like a.
It's like you know you did your job at work. You still get a paycheck. It's the same fucking thing. Yes, it is. And the more you do work, the more responsibilities you have. You expect better pay. When you play something at a higher difficulty, you just want to get something that's nice. And it's like that's all it is. It doesn't cost anything. It's like, here's this. It looks a little bit nicer. Great. And it's just a sermon of acknowledgement. It's like when you do something good at work and your boss is like, you do performance reviews, for example, and you get a little because you're excelling. They're like, yeah, we do. That's why we have performance reviews. It's literally the basis. And every job has them for that exact same reason. The trophies are just performance reviews, and they're built in the same structure that your performance review is, except there is literally no negative to them because you can't. Yeah. The only way you don't get one is you just don't do that, right? They like, whereas performance reviews, you can underperform, and they're like, well, you got like a 1. But
Sony also doesn't pay you for.
But it doesn't make a difference. You're still spending hours and time. It's like volunteer. It's the same thing. You'd get a performance review even at volunteers. They get performance review. It's the same thing. So it's like it's just kind of your performance review. Like you did good job, and it's kind of like all right, cool. And they incentivize you that as kids, right? Like as your first grade, you get the gold star if you cleaned up after class, right?
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
So it's like but
it's
also like
get beyond a certain point, the experience is the reward.
But
the gold star.
It is, but if you really care about a game and stuff, and like you want to play it all, you want to know like it's something to be like I did this, and you can look back at it and like literally be like when you want to look at stuff, be like, wow, what have I done? Like they're like accolades in your life. Like if you weren't someone who played a lot of sports, sports give you like 5th place trophies and shit like that. It's just like your version of that. It's like, well, I spent 20 hours playing, I don't know, whatever, Splinter Cell, and I got this because I spent 20 hours playing it. It's like, I know that not only do I know, obviously I know I beat the game, I have those memories, but also Alzheimer's is a real thing. It's also another thing, if you want to go into that.
I do not. I absolutely.
But I'm just saying, it is a viable thing. It's a viable thing for people getting that, and we're in an era where people who are gamers are getting that. But it's not only just that; it's just something to go back on and look at your achievements. It's really what it is. It's your achievement wall, whether it's for yourself or not, and you just feel good about yourself when you see it. But it is something that's like, maybe I forgot. Maybe I don't have those memories anymore. Right. You can kind of see your previous memories. And it's that's what I like about it. It's just memories encapsulated in the game, as opposed to just the game's over. Did I beat it? And you're like, I think because like that happens to me. Like
I will give you that. There are some games that I'm like not positive if I actually fit it.
Right. So like it just kind of like, well, it's 3 years. I've had this game for like 3 years. Did I? I think I did. Yeah. I think I did. And it's like, let me check. And it's like, okay, I did. Like it's kind of that too. So my point is, it covers a wide breadth of stuff. Whether it is, did I just fucking beat this game? And it's like, great. Or like you want those personality, but it's something I like. Is like, oh yeah, especially for games I really, really like Spider-Man, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It feels good being like the platinum, just being like, I know I did everything because I want to do everything in this game. So what's the list of trophies? So you're like, oh yeah, I can do that. Okay, because it also gives you more information of like I said, the Valkyries. Like you wouldn't know there was like that many Valkyries or what to do in God of War without the trophy list. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, I want to do that because I want to do that. The problem is the cool thing about Switch, it doesn't have that. So it's kind of like unknown, but like it's also like it's helpful that it's like, well, I really love Breath of the Wild, so I want to do everything. Yeah. I want to know all these legendary chests. I haven't found them all, so I'm going to spend more time to find all of them to make sure I did. Because I have no other list of acknowledging.
I mean, you got the menu, but
right.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's like you have to load the game up for this. So it's just kind of like that checkbox. So it's like whether you're just a person who wants to see it for internal pleasure or like, did I just fucking beat it because I've had that game for 4 years and I can't remember?
Yeah.
Or you have also, I mean, it's like it's a wide breadth, but it kind of covers. That's why I kind of support the trophy system and why the difficulties matter, because I think it kind of gives you additional prevent if you're one of those persons. Yeah. If you're not, you just want to beat the fucking game, put it on easy mode, beat the fucking game. You still get the thing, and it's like great, but you don't actually care about the rating level, and it's like whatever. And if you do, then it's like you got to put a little more in. You don't get paid the big bucks if you don't put the effort in. It's the same.
I mean,
thing.
I'll say that
our whole society is predicated on the same structure.
I'll say that there's a very much a middle ground where I don't care about trophies. I I think they're a nuisance more than anything else when they just keep like popping up. It's fun
you can
for
turn
like
that off though.
It's fun for some of like the novel ones.
Yeah.
But I am very okay with just the experience of playing the game, and I do not play on the easiest mode just to get through it. I still want to challenge myself, but I don't care about the trophies. I've never gone and looked back at the trophies
but
themselves.
like you said, but you'd fall into the category of, did I do this in that game? Did I beat that game?
But you just made it an economy where it's like some people play through the easiest, and I'm like, I don't do that.
Well, no, I'm
but
not
I
saying,
still
but
don't
I'm
care.
saying that's my point. It's a wide breadth. It kind of covers the structure of that system is like capitalism. I mean, it's literally it's our entire society is the trophy system. So it's like debating why I get the gold trophy. It's like, I'm a senior engineer. I get paid more than the mid-level engineer because I worked my ass off and I do more effort.
You're both engineering.
Right. And it's like, that's kind of what it is. And it's like, do we get to the same result at the end? Yes. But maybe I did a little more and I had to do a little more, take more into account because I took on extra difficulty. That's what it is. So it's like, I get a little bigger paycheck than supposed to just like wading through it. And it's guess what? If you don't have that urge or drive and you just want to enjoy it and flow, you have that option. So that's what's there. Yeah. So but that's also my point of why they should exist, is because like in Switch they don't. Is like, that's happened to me multiple. Did I beat this, or like did I do that in that game? And so it's not even just did you beat it, because then there's also those side quests and stuff, and they generally have trophies. You're like, oh yeah, I did do that. That was cool. And it's like stuff. So it just kind of gives you a quick like checklist of like, oh yeah, I did do that.
Yeah,
because it might have been a while.
There's more to do. There's more to experience.
Right. And that's also another part of it. So it's not just like, it's cool. So, which I think that's more of your part of it. It's like, did I beat that game 2 years ago? And you're like, yeah, I did. Okay, great, cool. Don't care. Like, all right, because now I'm not gonna load it up and try to play through it again because I did this. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's like watching a movie again. You're like, I did see this. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways,
we do have 3 more things.
I know
to
we've been jumping.
Touch on.
Well, the thing is, like, I really didn't expect going to that, and that just kind of like exploded. But that always happens. Anyways, the one part of the Netflix thing we didn't get to is there was a data mining of someone data mined Netflix and about them making the gaming content, and they found references to Ghost of Tsushima box art and PS5 controllers. So a lot of it is unclear what any of this means, but they're saying, so here we go. Netflix's gaming feature has a current working name of Shark and is represented by this image in the iOS app, a shark fin. Could an image of PS5 controllers and Sony's Ghost of Tsushima director's cut indicate a partnership with Sony? Because they basically data mined it and found Ghost of Tsushima and Sony controllers like floating around, like specifically DualSense controllers. So they're like, is it that? And it's like, everybody keeps asking, what can Sony do to combat Game Pass? A partnership with Netflix would be like the domination. That would be like, what is game? Like, I mean, that is like
literally game changing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that would be a fundamental shift.
Yeah.
In entertainment. So and again, who the fuck knows what this means? But it could just mean, hey, we're going to have third-party games on the Netflix streaming service. Like I said, like we could have Sony games, we might have Xbox games. Yeah. But if there's an actual partnership with Sony and Netflix, that's something is something that promotes PS Now and whatever the fuck their streaming thing, Shark. That makes it way another level of this to something we're now talking about a shift in the gaming community. So we'll see. I did want to get to that part, but we're on the difficulty tangent. We love our tangents here. I don't even know how fucking long we've been recording.
It's a while.
It's at
I
least
believe
been
it's
an
over
hour.
an hour. Yeah. But
anyways, let's get to what are we at? Oh yeah, Cyberpunk's back in stores and was the top selling game.
Yeah.
Being back only for a few days. It was back in like the middle of the month. I think it was in June. Top selling game June. Let's get it real quick. Also, Xbox Series X was the top selling console last month.
Oh shit! All right,
and it's the best month of Xbox Series X. So everybody's like, "See, told you," and it's like it's every article also says PS5 was like just under its sales, and it's like significantly. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, let's just let it go. But anyways, it was the best selling game on the PS, because remember it was they was taken off the Sony store, so it's the best selling game in June for Sony because it was taken off their store. It's on everybody else's store. The fact that's really impressive about this is it was the best-selling game in June for Sony.
All digital?
It was, well, yes, but it was turned back on June 21st. It only exists for 9 days in June. 9 days in June. In 9 days, it was a top song. I mean, so people wanted to fucking play this. Despite what you hear about,
I still want to play it.
Everybody hates it and stuff like that. Like, right, but like, there's enough interest that's like, hey, when it comes out and if it is actually fixed so I can really play it, it's like, yeah, I'm going to play it. And 9 days to hit the number one in the thing.
I mean, how many months has it been off the market?
6 months.
So you've had 6 months of PlayStation sales in that time.
Correct. Well, it's not the best-selling game of 2021, just of June.
No, I'm just saying that like you had people buying the PS5, more people buying the PS4, like that have wanted to play it that just couldn't.
Right, they've been wanting to, and they maybe like I think it's a real thing. No news is bad news or whatever the fuck it is. Like if that was not Cyberpunk had the worst news. And
no news is good news. But.
Yeah, no news is good. But, well, no, then there's no press is bad press or whatever.
Exactly, yes.
No such thing as bad press.
Yes.
There we go. We were going to get to it. But, and it's like, it definitely had some bad press. They took it off the store, but they unlock it in 9 days. Number one. I mean, no matter what you think, fucking good for them, man. I mean, because they took a hit too. So, very good for them. And to be honest, and it's a game worth playing. And if you're debating it, I think it's good. And I think it's going to be going on sale too. So it's like, well, I don't know. I think it's something that's like, yeah, just fucking give it a try now that it is working. I would say really wait till you have a next gen console because I think even though it does work better on the older ones, it's still like you're not going to get a good experience.
I realized halfway through me saying that it is still available on PS4. That's not even what I'm talking about.
No, you want to get the PS5 version of it, and like which they haven't technically fully released yet. It's just like the working PS4 one,
which is still very good news.
Yeah, it just means the other one's coming. It means they can finally focus on getting the next gen ones out.
So last week, we talked about the Zelda game going for.
Oh yeah, this happened hours. Like we dropped on 8 a.m. or whatever. And we were talking about Zelda sold for 870,000, and then what happened on Monday?
Blown the fuck out of the water,
like destroyed.
Now the top selling single video game cartridge, whatever.
Yeah,
Super Mario
64.
Super Mario 64. Yes.
Yeah.
1.5 million.
1.56. Yeah, fucking crazy. And it was like 2 days after Legend of Zelda. And it's like, before that was 660,000, but that was back in like April. That record was set, and then it's like within 2 days we broke the record with Zelda at 870, and everybody's like, "Damn, when's that gonna break?" Like 6 months, 48 hours.
Yeah,
like and then it's doubled almost. Like that's crazy.
That's just a rich person thing too, where it's like
this is what we were
you
talking
see
about
the same thing with art. Yeah, like you want to be the one that owns the most expensive one.
But 1.5 mil. I mean, we said it's the same thing I said with 870.
Yeah.
Who is buying? Like, I would for 1.5 mil, I would have to have $100 minimum $1 million, and that's like liquid, like not even like inside. Because like, I mean, what? That's
insane.
Crazy. Yeah. Like, you can't tell me you bought that for 1.5 mil and you have like $5 million because you're a fucking idiot. Like that's like.
I just recently played through Mario 64.
Yeah, you did.
It is a great game. It is a fantastic game. It is a groundbreaking game. It is not worth 1.5 million.
It has to be like you played that game and got like the greatest blowjob on earth, or got like found the woman of your dreams, got her pregnant, started your family, or like your mom like didn't have cancer anymore, or so like something fundamental had to happen in your life when playing that game, or like your upbringing of
for
like
it to mean that much,
or like. Everybody got murdered, but that game got you through it or something. I don't know. But something, like, you know what I mean? Like, that game clearly has, I would assume, you're not buying that game because you think it's worth $3 million next year. You could be, but it's not going to be.
No.
But, if I'm buying it, I'm emotionally, like, for example, that game for me, I think I said this last week, would be Wizard of War for Atari 2600. I have my original copy of it.
It's right behind me.
Yes.
You did talk about it.
But if, like, let's say I didn't, or, like, there was a mint condition, and I was like, that's the only one that I would. And that, or maybe like Siphon Filter.
Yeah.
But like, it would mean like, you're not gonna be able to, it's like, there's so much in that bucket.
I was just looking because I saw GoldenEye there, and I'm like, if you
GoldenEye's
have Mario 64 just sitting there, it would be funny to like hold it up and be like, this.
I would probably do it.
Same thing.
Oh yeah,
just this
mine's
one's
just
been
not
opened.
mint condition. Yeah, I probably do have Mario 64.
Yeah. More love has gone into the one back there.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. That had to have been like so. But even again, that
cartridge has never been blown.
Right, that's which is incredible. Maybe he's just been the first one to blow it.
He just takes it out of the box and goes,
"Ooh." Which the best part is on like the boxes and stuff, and like the developer is like, "Do not do that."
Oh yeah,
it tells you not to do that. And everybody's like, "What's that?" Oh, just blowing the cartridge, blowing. Open the thing, blow. Everybody's just blowing, and it became like that's how you fix it. And then they were like, "Do not do this," and you're gonna fuck up one of the pins in it. Or they're like, "We don't care." But it also worked every time.
Yes.
But my end of that is like, but even with that, and like I'm emotionally invested, and I have so much money. That one behind you that I actually played is the one I'm emotionally connected to, not the one some guy kept in his basement with his mom for 75 years or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's like maybe if that one got lost and I couldn't find it again, like I don't like that's hard for me, but you have to be so emotionally connected to that.
Who knows? Yeah.
Because if you really think, hey, this is going to double, I mean, it's like the NFT thing. It's like, bro, there is a limit, and it's like real estate right now. It's like a bubble. We are definitely hitting a bubble in this part too. That's like, dude, there's going to be a limit. This is how much the game is.
Yeah.
It's not. It might get maybe 10,000 up or down, but not getting another 2 mil.
Yep.
Like, and then I saw people this week because of the Zelda and this were like, oh, what do we think? So Halo is going to be a $5 million game one day. I'm like, no, it's not. No. I think there's a difference between games that you can get digitally and on the newer consoles than they are like these OGs. Like, so like N64 game. Like that's why you don't see Sony games.
There's something about a cartridge.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
the discs don't get it. Like you don't see a Sony game, which would have came out around N64, selling for like Final Fantasy sold for 96,000. Right. That's not the same. It's like, but NES, the cartridge, I could see a Genesis, like a Sonic the Hedgehog or something.
Yeah.
Like though it's the like you said, it's the it's this uniqueness of the product that you can't use it anymore. Like maybe a GameCube disc or something like that because they were the mini DVDs. But maybe, even that, I think it has to be the point in time of these consoles. Yeah. Like Super Nintendo, N64, Atari, like those kind of things. And Xbox, like Halo, like someone said Halo 3, and I was like, what? Like it was great, but like it's just not. Like think of any game you love, like Dead Space, right? Let's say
Time Splitters 2.
Sure, but even Time Splitters, that's PS2, right? And it's like, or Dino Crisis, right? Get those fun guns. Even those, it's like, it's still in my brain, it's still too new. But these cartridge games feel older, even though they're almost, it's like a 3-year difference probably. Yeah. But it just feels like Super Mario 64 and Time Splitters is probably like a 5-year difference, if that. Yeah. That, it might be 3. But my point is like that, but they feel different.
Yes.
When I say those, you're like, no, one's like, because one's like a shift in the paradigm. So like, I mean, it would have to be like, that's the thing. It's like maybe like a retro PS5, maybe like a PS2, the console itself. Yeah. Like an OG PS2 could sell for a lot of money. But yeah, I don't see, I saw people talking about that. I was like, I really don't see that. And maybe people said the same thing, but it's like, there's like a 3-year difference between the games you're talking about and the game that just sold. But look, when I say them out loud, it doesn't sound like that. Yeah. So it's like, I don't think they're like, when do you think this will be? It's like, it doesn't mean everything is going to sell for this much money. It doesn't mean that. I think there's a point in time of the value, and I think it's like 1980 to 95. Yeah. And I think that's where you'll find these values. Anything 95 plus is kind of like, yeah, we'll see. But anyway, still cool. Still sold a lot of money.
Demon Souls and then trivia.
There's a Demon Souls documentary coming out. It looks pretty cool. I think it's like an hour I think it's almost 2 hours. Let me pull it up real quick.
And that's just updating it to current gen, right?
It is an hour. It's an hour-long deep dive into the PS5 remake. So it's because it was a PS3 game, and they remade it. So it was Blue Point, who we talked about before. They remade the PS3 version as a day one showpiece for PS5. Okay. And rebuilt the entire thing. And they made a documentary, or NoClip made a documentary. That's crowdfunding. That's all in 4K, and it's I think it's it's exactly an hour. It's an hour and 1 minute and 2 seconds. But it's on YouTube right now. So you can watch it for free. It's called Demon Souls Remaking a PlayStation Classic documentary. It is cool. And it's like, I watched a few of it, but then I was like, I'll probably watch this with Sage. But NoClip does a bunch of these documentaries. They have like a Half-Life one as well.
Nice.
And the making of Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm sure you'll probably enjoy it. But this is really interesting because it's rebuilding the classic. It goes from like rebuilding the PS3 to being this PS5, which was like incredible in its own right. So it's really cool. So if you like that and kind of, we talk about remakes and remasters a lot. So if you kind of want to see that process, I think this is like a cool way of seeing that process. So definitely something worth it. So let's just get into trivia because we're not as deep as I thought we were, but we're deep. We're like an hour 10, so not that bad. All right. So let's get into that. You want to start? I'll finish.
Okay. So mine is cops in video games. Just
I think you say and robbers, like
cops and robbers. Yeah, mostly just because my dad
Visor Gang
wanted to send
the
political
chat's
stuff
popping off on Visor Gang.
It's just going wild. I can't believe.
All right, so your dad's talking about cops in video games.
No, he's just talking about like political stuff, and I was like, no,
can we not get into a political?
We're absolutely not going to. This is my way of like doing a little
fun tangent.
My own personal, yeah.
You're gonna vent to me with trivia that I get wrong.
Yeah. So we are talking cops in video games. I am gonna give you the name of the officer, and you tell me what game it is from.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. Nick Mendoza.
See that? I feel like I definitely should know. Grand Theft Auto,
Battlefield Hardline.
That I actually, I guess I shouldn't. I never played I always play multiplayer in that. It kind of goes back into the whole like, does Battlefield need a single player?
Cole Phelps.
Is he the not Dead to Rights?
Nope.
I'm gonna just keep saying that until you pick.
L.A. Noire.
Oh, I should have known that one. So good, Rockstar champs. Great noir.
Ryotaro Dojima.
No idea.
Persona 4.
I only played 5.
Wei Shen.
Yakuza?
Sleeping Dogs.
Oh, the remake of that is great.
Maxwell Tiberius Payne.
Max Payne.
Yeah.
He's just like, is his middle name really Tiberius?
No.
Okay. I was like, what is he, a Star Trek fan?
I'm glad you caught it.
I was like, isn't it James Tiberius Kirk? Yeah.
Takayuki Yagami.
Yakuza?
Judgment.
I never played that, and we saw the trailer for Lost Judgment last week.
Connor.
John?
The Negotiator.
Oh, what is the name of that fucking game? It's the one where you make all the decisions. He's one of the 3 options in it. Oh, God. I do know this. Human. Something Human.
Yeah, Detroit Become
Human, yeah.
Aya Brea.
I don't know, Grand Theft Auto.
Parasite Eve.
Never played it.
Leon S. Kennedy.
Resident Evil.
Yep.
2. That's when he got out. He wasn't.
Francis York Morgan.
Frank Morgan. Dead to Rights.
Deadly Premonition.
I knew there was a dead. That's a fucking weird game, by the way. It's also like terrible, but it's like it's also like you ever see those horror movies that are so bad they're good. It's almost like that for a game.
Okay, all right.
Which is weird to say because like games are developed, but it's kind of like that. Anyways,
all right. So 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna do good in that, but I'm. You didn't like if I would have got Max Payne was like. I guess you made it really long to make it not be like Max Payne.
It was literally just like Max Payne from Max Payne. Yeah. I was like, well, this is also the top 10 list from Game Rant.
Okay, yeah. You could have also been like Mark Wahlberg played this character. But like Leon Kennedy, like Chris Redfield, you could have given me too. RPPD. Raccoon Police Department. All right, so we're back in MPDs, babies. All right. So top 10 selling games of June 2021. Where did this pen go?
It's my pen, so.
I had 2, though.
I think you borrowed it last week. So.
I know that's because she took one. Yeah, the girl that said 1 carrot's too small, needs at least 2, and I was like, dude, you don't know what the fuck that is. I was like, how about a quarter? Never. If we play that game. All right. Jeez, I'm gonna get yelled at for that. All right. So
good, because I don't know what you're talking about.
forget it. Show the people will pick up what that obviously is talking about, but diamonds are rated in carats.
I see.
Anyway, so top selling games of June 2021.
I got you 100 half carats on this ring.
She looked at 1 carat, was like, needs to be at least 2, and I was like, nope. I was like, I am not the guy who just bought the Super Mario 64 game. All right. So, anyways, top selling video games of June 2021.
Oh my god, I'm so not.
Just hit me with 10, and then we're gonna do the publisher thing again on this one as well because it was fun. People loved it last time.
I'm just not going to.
Just give me 10.
MLB The Show, Returnal, Mario Kart 8. I feel like they released
just roll, feel it.
New players, so
just roll video games.
What's the fucking Smash Brothers? Okay. Smash Brothers. We're gonna go Cyberpunk. Okay. Who knows if that actually made a dent in the whole overall. We did say June, right?
June 2021.
Okay, are we that far in the July sheet?
Yeah, dude, we're halfway through the year. It's crazy.
Did another game come out? Are we back into
other games came out.
Basketball game.
What?
Forza, okay, or whatever racing game might have come out.
I'll put it. It did not, but yeah, but it counts as your vote.
I feel like we got 3, so 4, many.
5, 6. You got 4 more. Just give me 4 more. There's one you still haven't mentioned, which is crazy. It's normally the first off the bat.
Oh, Cold War.
Yep. Call of Duty Cold War, but yeah. I know what you meant.
No, I just
I wanted to give you.
I have
one.
all the stuff from Games Fest, so I'm like Battlefield, Valhalla.
I mean, you've guessed that for like 3 months in a row.
It hasn't been on there. I'm hoping for a resurgence.
I mean, that does happen. We know that.
Speaking of resurgence,
one more.
Wii Fit.
Okay, that was it. Would you double check?
I'm not going to tell you developers.
7, 8, 9, 10.
Had a wedding yesterday. I got back in at one.
So yeah. MLB is correct. Returnal, not correct. Mario Kart is correct. Smash Bros, not correct. Cyberpunk, not correct. Remember, it was just 9 days, and it was also just a PlayStation Store. Forza, it's not out yet. Yeah. I mean, older ones are. Cold War is correct. I kind of was like, guess that one. Battlefield, no, it doesn't come out for a couple months. Valhalla, still, unfortunately, no resurgence, and Wii Fit, no resurgence. So top 10 are number 1, which I can't believe you didn't guess, is Ratchet and Clank. Rift Apart. Number 2, Call of Duty, Cold War. Number 3, also Mario Golf Super Rush. That's been hot. 4 is MLB The Show. 5, never would have guessed you would guess it. Scarlet Nexus. 6, surprised you didn't, is Resident Evil Village. 7 is Mario Kart 8. 8 is Minecraft. 9 is Miles Morales. That had some resurgence.
Okay, so there was 10, a resurgence.
Yes, and 10 is Mortal Kombat 11. Yeah.
Okay.
So if we go through that, so publishers.
I'm not doing.
You said developers. We're gonna do publishers.
I don't care. I'm not.
Right, I'm gonna say, how many times did Sony
3
make this list? 3.
Yep.
That is exactly correct. How many times did Activision Blizzard make the list?
2.
Once. How many times did Nintendo
4.
make the list? 2. How many times did Capcom make the list?
3. No, 2.
1. How many times did multiple video game manufacturers make the list?
7. No. 5.
It's 1. It's just Minecraft.
Okay.
How many times did Bandai Namco Entertainment make the list?
2.
1. You have to remember, I gave you 10.
I know.
How many times did Warner Brothers Interactive make the list?
1.
Yep. There we go. I got that one right. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like I was making sure all those numbers added up too. That'd have been weird. Like, someone's like, "That's 12." Like, nah, forget it. All right, well, that was fun. It was a good one. We got into it, got a little more information, but this is supposed to be a quiet week, and it's like the Netflix stuff's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Steam Deck, I mean, it's massive. Phil Spencer saying they need some better controllers, and that documentary looks sweet. And now it looks like we're gonna have another electric week ahead of us with a Ubisoft press and EA Play coming up. So we should have some. Well, let's hope some Dead Space and Splinter Cell convos next week, right?
Yep.
That's what we at least both want. And obviously, you're like, yeah, whatever, Splinter Cell, Dead Space, Dead Space.
Yeah.
It could be the name of the character from Dead Space. Your favorite game?
Isaac.
Yeah. I figured out what I called him the last time to make you like.
Yeah. Really solidify it.
It was like I said like Ethan or something. I said the wrong name, and you were like, "Oh yeah," and I was like, "It's Isaac."
Yeah.
Isaac the Miner.
Yep.
That's
and yeah, not to end on a downer, but the guy who made the song that anyone on audio was listening to playing on trivia is in the hospital. So just thoughts and prayers.
T's and P's
for Mike. Yep.
Well, Mike, we hope you get better. Hope you listen to this, right? But no, yeah, we want to make sure Mike gets better because we need more trivia music too. No, really, he's gonna. Right, we wish him all the best. It's been a rough week for Sage, so give Sage some support too. And we'll talk to y'all next week, and hopefully we'll have some good information in life and gaming next week, right? That's the plan.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, thanks. Glad you game, everyone, and bye.
See you next week. Anyone